Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, here to react to the Raptors. 120-87 win against the Brooklyn Nets. Ryker?
Hey.
The squad is back together.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, this was an awesome win here tonight.
It really was. It was a game that was necessary to win. We have a Brooklyn Nets team that didn't have their star players, didn't have D'Angelo Russell, and I guess didn't have their other starters with Allen Crabbe. So it was good to see them.
And DeMarre Carroll out as well tonight. For all the listeners who don't know, DeMarre Carroll was out tonight due to rest.
And as you'll know from listening to our podcast, we don't have the highest opinion on DeMarre Carroll, but what was even more entertaining was Jack Armstrong's opinions on DeMarre Carroll and him not playing today.
We have some of his best moments recorded for you guys right now, so here's a listen of Jack Armstrong roasting DeMarre Carroll.
He could care less. Matt?
Well, I didn't realize, Matt, that he was even here tonight. I thought he had joined the witness protection program. Think about it. Like Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Chris Bosh, Hito Turkoglu, they all showed up, and they took it when they got on the court. And I thought the NBA right now, we're not supposed to be resting guys on road games, right?
But it's second night of a back-to-back.
So what? In the words of Allen Iverson, practice? How about rest? Rest!
I had a chance to see.
Come on, don't you... There were a ton of open shots that I saw a year ago that he and Patrick Patterson had that, people go all over DeRozan and Lowry, but other people got to provide supportive contributions and consistent and highly productive supportive contributions in order for your star guys to be good. Kyle Korver makes those open shots when he plays with LeBron. That's why he's there. He's there to make them.
Over the course of maybe fully got healthy, right? We never saw him
or committed.
Well, that I won't go there, but he was never, maybe fully healthy. Gets healthy over the summertime.
Oh, he's playing great for them. I'm just shocked that he's not out there. I mean, this should be a night you have circled if you're a competitor. I think DeMarre Carroll's pretty happy he doesn't have to go at DeMar DeRozan tonight, because DeRozan is torching the Brooklyn Nets.
All right, so I think that if Jack gets wind of this podcast, he will definitely appreciate our infamous DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award, to say the very least. It's kind of an odd thing to hear a commentator roast one of our very own players, or a player that we used to have on the team.
You can hear Matt Devlin almost trying to calm him down a little bit. Jack was having none of it.
It was Hot Takes Jack tonight. It was Jack Armstrong unfiltered, and it was hilarious to hear.
Yeah. Oh man, Jack was going off. He wasn't having any of the DeMarre Carroll appreciation tonight. So yeah, we may as well get into the segment. The DeMarre Carroll, the award named after him, the DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award tonight.
Hit us with it.
Goes to DeMarre Carroll himself for, as Jack said, not playing due to rest and just for all of last season. He's getting the DeMarre Carroll Gold Star.
Also for that disgusting gold suit that he was wearing.
Senior swag daddy, Ryker.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
JYD 2.0. Now, let's get into some of the actual game analysis though, because the Raptors were phenomenal in this one.
Yeah, the starting unit played amazing. We have Lowry finished with a triple-double. DeMarre with 31 points. We have JV who's playing really well. Serge. What did you see? What did you see from the starting lineup?
Well, it shows up in the plus minus. DeMarre was a plus 38. JV, OG, and Serge were all plus 33s, and Lowry was a plus 37. So that almost says it all there. The Raptors starters just handled the Nets. They treated them like a G League team. They're out there, and the first bench stint, they kind of lost the lead, and the Nets went on a run with help of Nick Stauskas, who played really well in this one. But when the starters were out there, they just toyed with this team.
Now let's take a second to talk about Nick Stauskas himself. He's bounced around the league a little bit as a young Canadian player. You described it best yourself. Let's. What are your thoughts on?
Yeah, I don't know. I like Nick Stauskas' game. Like, he hasn't done much in the league, but he just is a player. He can shoot. He does the right things, and the Philly's been good this season. But prior to this year, Nick Stauskas has been on the two most out of whack, out of kilter franchises in the NBA, which is the Kings and the 76ers. Two teams that are just constantly losing. It's hard to develop in that environment. So I think even though Brooklyn is not substantially a better place, but I think they have a good coach. They have a good GM now. I think he might have an opportunity to actually thrive in this environment, and hopefully he can keep up the play, being a Canadian and all. As he did tonight. He had 22 points and 7 rebounds.
5 for 7
from the field. Yeah, so I don't know. Wish him the best.
All right, so the return of DeLon Wright gets a lot of Raptors fans excited. He definitely had a good start to the season. However, in DeLon's absence, our boy, Freddie VanVleet, stepped up, played amazing. So we're questioning a little bit what the lineup is going to look like, or what it was going to look like with DeLon returning. Was he going to play as well coming back? Will he need a little while to get into it? What will happen with him and Norm, or him and Freddie? CJ was out this game, so he just kind of filled in naturally. What do you think about his first performance back?
Well, as you said, CJ Miles didn't play tonight, so he kind of just slipped into the CJ minutes. But it's going to be weird to see. I guess Casey fit them all in at the beginning of the season, but it almost seemed like CJ was the minutes. He wasn't getting enough time, even with just Norm and him sharing the backup guards. And, Freddie seems to have earned a spot as that backup point guard. So it's going to be tough to see, because DeLon was also great at the start of the season. He needs minutes. So it's going to be a good test to see how Dwayne Casey can manage all these guys. And he's done a great job of it so far. I got to give him credit. So
now only time will tell, but this will be sort of, I guess, the first instance on this Raptors squad where we have two players that legitimately could be the backup point guard that are going to be fighting for the same position now. So you have Fred versus DeLon, essentially. And we'll see how it unfolds. But do you think that this rivalry between them will end up encouraging them both to play at the best level, or do you think that it'll almost put kind of a negative rivalry that could impact, for the worse, the players?
I don't know. I think the Raptors, Masai Ujiri has put the team together where we don't have anyone bad in the locker room, right? There's no guys that are like, oh, I need my minutes. I need X touch the ball this many times. And you've seen it from the top guys like DeMarre and Larry. The minutes have never been an issue, but once Dwayne Casey asked for their shots to tone down a little bit, they've taken much less shots this year. The ball's been moving, and you never heard any complaints out of our top guys. So and that culture is sustained throughout our lineup. So I don't think it'll create, any trouble issues in the locker room, but it might be weird to see how they play with reduced minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, Masai is very good at getting rid of players when they when they don't work positively in the locker room. I mean, look at Lou Williams, for example.
Well, Lou was pretty good. Lou, he was a bit weird in Atlanta. I think the main reason Lou left was because of his defense, but
there's a lot of stories about Lou Williams' antics with bringing different women to basketball games and being a little questionable in the locker room. But perhaps
six men like two girls and they get along, man. That's a bonus, man. That's what we need. That charisma.
He just has legend status.
Raptors need more of that. Yeah.
All right. So moving into the third and the fourth. So it was kind of close. The bench played really poor in the second quarter, and then they turned it around in the third a bit. But we went from almost a tie game to completely blowing them out, 20 points, and then just sustained that and kept building on it for the rest of the game. What do you think was the reason? Did we see the Masai culture shift? Was it due to the passing? Was everybody just shooting really well?
Yeah, just the offense was flowing really nice. Threes were falling. And another night where Serge Ibaka, he starts in the paint. He starts getting the easy shots where, his whole career he's been able to hit that mid-range, 10 to 12 footer.
Mm-hmm.
And then he steps out from the outside. And then he's just so good when he does that. I've found for the past couple weeks, as we've said on all the podcasts, Serge and Jonas. Serge has been really good. And then that feeds into Jonas. When Serge is playing well, right, hitting his shots,
Mm-hmm.
the paint is... the whole starting unit can shoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
DeMarre maybe not from 3, but they all are good shooters, right? So then Jonas has the room to thrive. And I think that's why with Serge's resurgence, not to make a pun, that's why Jonas has been playing so well as of late too.
Do you think, I'm just looking at the box score here now, Pascal Siakam 0 for 5 from 3. I don't think he's hit a 3 in a long time. And probably 30 or more shots. Do you think he's hitting threes in practice and the coaching staff is okay with him shooting? Or do you think he's, sort of mentally in this slump and he's just trying to shoot his way out of it?
Yeah, well, Siakam, if you watch the 905 last season, he was, especially towards the end of that year, right? He was hitting threes left and right. If you watched him in Summer League, he was money. So, and there have even been stretches throughout this season where he's been good. I think he's just in a little slump, and it's kind of getting in his head. But the thing I like to see about that, he's doing everything else great. Even though the basket, the ball isn't going through the hoop that much, he's still playing like Siakam, right? He's still getting the energy and getting the rebounds. So he still deserves those minutes. You know what I mean? Because if some players aren't shooting well, they just stop playing in all other areas. And that Siakam hasn't done that. So I think he's in a little slump right now, but I feel like he'll be able to shoot out of it because he'll get the minutes to play through it.
He'll shoot out of it, or he'll just practice. Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
And once he develops his 3-point shot, easy 6th man of the year, easy one of the scariest players in the league, just because of the effort that he puts out on the court, and then combine that with shooting ability. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've seen a lot of good things this game. We've seen the return of the backdoor alley-oop from Lowry to DeRozan.
Hey. You're taking a segment here.
Oh, no. Oh, shoot.
I guess we'll go straight in to the play of the day, as he brought it up.
All right. Hit us with the play of the
day. As you said, we had the return of the back pick for DeMarre, and Lowry throwing the lob.
Woo-woo.
And this one was, without a doubt, the best dunk but DeMar DeRozan has had off that back lob this season. It was great, a great play of the day. I know how much you love the back door.
Oh gosh,
the back pick lob.
That's my favorite play. When they connect, oh my gosh, the chemistry sizzles. It gives me a little goosebumps when I watch it on the screen.
So good.
All right,
so good.
Continuing.
And you mentioned there's one other point I want to make. You mentioned Siakam slump.
Mm-hmm.
Another player that's been kind of slumping as of late is Norm Powell, and he had a really good night tonight.
Yeah, really efficient.
He had 11 points. 5 of 8 from the field. He looked a bit much more calmed down. And he started the game with a missed dunk, but he was just getting into the paint, and he didn't let that faze him. And he just slowed his brain down. That's what we were saying on the last podcast. When Norm plays more relaxed and more within himself, he's such a good player.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that might have to do with CJ Miles being out, because maybe he's worried about fighting with him for minutes and always looking over his shoulder. So that could be an interesting narrative to look through about the season. But, it's nice to see Norm have a good game.
Yeah, for tonight it was rest assured he played pretty well. I mean, we've seen some other good things too. We had a really big Ibaka rejection that you sent a tweet out.
The start of the game.
Yeah. I don't know if you can consider it a block though. If it seemed like he was going for the alley-oop, but he still threw it into the stands. Hilarious.
Yeah.
A lot of really good plays this game, but a couple of questionable ones for sure. So that takes us to the OGs play of the day, and there was a perfect stretch for JV the last couple of games. He's 2 for 2 from 3. We're excited to see it. Jack
3 for 3.
3 for 3. Jack's not excited to see the big man shooting threes. Matty D and Leo, they love to see it. We were promised JV shooting, and you know what? He thought he'd elevate his game and go for a little step back, but he bricked it hard. he bricked it really hard. And on top of that, our other big man, Pirtle, air balls. Both of the men, 0 for 1 from 3 this game, and it just makes me say, oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I don't know. What do you think, actually? What do you think about CNJV and I mean, this is a game that we can afford to take some maybe questionable shots, but
I love the threes from 2 of them. I love it. And as Dwayne Casey said in a post-game interview, great soundbite from Dwayne Casey. Mm-hmm. He said, JV, shooting wet. He called him wet. He called the jumper wet.
It's wet.
Dwayne Casey knows what's up.
You know what? I don't know what Zeller was thinking this game, but JV's pump fake, he was biting every time. He was getting him up all the way on his toes, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Tyler Zeller looking like Andre Drummond.
He was looking like a ballerina out on the court.
I love that, yeah. Tyler Zeller might be my least favorite role player in the NBA.
Oh my gosh, that's a bold statement right there.
Hey, yo, I met him in Toronto, actually. Mm-hmm. Hotel. Staying at the same hotel as me.
What happened?
Just a kid looking for an autograph, right?
Yep.
Just a mean man. Gave me a little nudge to the side, right? Like a little mean nudge to kind of move me out of the way.
No autograph?
No autograph.
Wow.
But I got Brian Scalabrini's autograph that day, so it was great.
Dwight Mamba.
It was a good day.
The GOAT.
Yeah, but no, Tyler Zeller, not a fan.
All right. Well, on that hot take, that's it for me.
Yeah, great game, Riker.
It really was.
Great game. Everyone, thanks for listening, and we'll be back to recap the Raptors' next game.
Later.
Thanks for listening.